Government has performed an 11th hour climb down, it seems, and has offered to enter into settlement talks with the public sector unions over salary increases that it had previously said were unaffordable. But as Business Day is reporting this morning, this is not enough to prevent a court battle that may have huge ramifications for the credibility of fiscal policy and the government's intention to contain South Africa's ballooning debt. That court case is currently underway. I want to talk now to Reuben Maleka, who is with the Public Servants Association. Mr. Maleka, good afternoon to you and welcome. How are you seeing this change of mind by government, and is your union prepared to talk? Is it prepared to engage?
Good afternoon, Jeremy, and the listeners of eNCA. Look, we are currently in court, and government is arguing the invalidity of the resolution, and that obviously is one of the pertinent issues that we want to see what the court would say about it. Because should the court find that indeed the agreement is invalid and is not implementable, that would be a disaster for government, because that would translate into us meaning that we must table demands with effect of 1 April 2020, and which means that we're no longer bound by 4.4%. We can table any figure, and that would be undesired circumstances and the outcomes of the court if the court finds that the agreement is invalid.
Why do you think government has made this move then?
Look, obviously it's the fact that they are claiming to be bankrupt and unable to afford the resolution. And it's surprising that this resolution was budgeted for in 2018. And what is more shocking is that in the recent term of Minister of Finance, he managed to pull out 10.5 billion for SAA. And we need the same amount as public servants to be able to get our adjustment. So if you could manage to bail out SAA from time to time, I'm sure you'd be able to manage to pay our salary adjustment, which will also require equal same amount of 10 billion.
So make this a little clearer for me, if you wouldn't mind. Government then has tabled this proposal. Are you rejecting it out of hand, or are you prepared to turn up and listen to what it has to say?
Look, what government tabled on Sunday when we had a discussion with the Minister for Public Service Administration was that they would want in the month of December, when they pay salaries, because we pay a portion of 7.5 contribution to GPF or pension fund, they would want to withhold their pension contribution, and they would want to make that pension contribution a once-off bonus payable to public servants. That means that they are not taking any money anywhere else, but simply taking the money of workers in terms of pension contribution and make once-off bonus, and that's it. It can't be that you get your own money that's supposed to be paid into a pension, then you regard that as a settlement. That's why we rejected that proposal.
So you've rejected the proposal. What I'm hearing then is that you think this is a waste of time, it's disingenuous, you're not prepared to sit down and talk.
Look, at this point in time, as we speak right now, we are in court. They are arguing unaffordability and invalidity of the agreement. We believe that the agreement is valid. It can be affordable. There are certain things that we have raised previously, also in the media, about what is happening with the state capture. We can see there in the state capture that it's not easy for one to accept when we see how corruption has actually been let alone to just to spread. And the same cabinet, the same politicians, they have not been doing any much effort to see that they can curb that kind of corruption, and they want us to sacrifice.
I want to bring the conversation back to the potential for negotiation. Government has made an offer. Have you gone to your members, to your constituency, and put that request to talk for them to consider?
Look, Jeremy, we can't talk about the resolution, and I think that will be defeating the purpose of collective bargaining. We have said with the employer in 2018, we accepted what we don't want to accept. In fact, Jeremy, PSA did not even sign that resolution because we believed at the time that it is not adequate. We didn't accept it because it was too little. Unfortunately, the other union signed it and it bound us. And that's why you can't even manage to talk about getting something that is even lesser than what was agreed in 2018. What we are prepared to talk about with the employer is for the next financial year, which is 2021. Yes, we can talk then when we table our demands for the next round.
But nothing retroactively?
Definitely nothing that retrospective can be talked about the resolution that is in place. If the employer says that they can't afford it, and they must show cause and make sure that they can tell us how they've managed to make sure that the bleeding that is happening is being closed. Remember, Jeremy, the Auditor General has given us a report to the public that about 60 billion rand has been lost, and no effort has been made to recover this money. Why must they recover it through our salaries?
At some point, government is going to say to you, it simply can't afford it. What happens then?
Look, if government simply can't afford it, then they must show cause. Maybe perhaps they must talk about a possibility of saying where must they cut. And one of the issues that they've already raised was that perhaps at the executive level, they must consider that, including themselves in cabinet and in parliament, and they cut from there and most of the packs that they have. And the other thing is that they must look at the public service as a single public service, because here sometimes people look at us as public servants and they forget that there's no equal pay for the public sector per se. Because if you go to the CEO of SAA and look at how much they've been paid, and they include that as part of the wage bill, it can't be. Why would they include everybody in the public service if they're not equally paid with us as public servants?
All right, Reuben Maleka from the Public Servants Association, I think you've made your position very clear in that respect. We await then a decision at the Labour Court.